Good afternoon. Welcome in, everyone, to Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Happy Blue Friday to you. Might notice this week I'm actually not wearing Colts gear. I'm just doing a blue hoodie. So I think you might know why. We'll get into that at in the last part of the show. But anyway, welcome in. It's another beautiful fall Friday here in the great city of Indianapolis. Coming to you live, as I do each and every Friday, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And for those of you who are in the Indy area, I hope you're not downtown right now, unless you're going to see Taylor Swift. For those of you who may not know, who may be listening from out of market, Taylor and Swift and her Swifties are here for the weekend. So nice revenue boost for the city of Indianapolis. We won't talk any more about that. However, what we will talk about today is that team that plays in the venue Taylor Swift is playing in this weekend, that venue called Lucas Oil Stadium. And the team that plays in that a beautiful stadium, by the way. It is a really beautiful stadium, but the current clown show that is the Indianapolis Colts, so we'll get into that at the back end of the show. I want to save as much time as I can for that, for the back end, just because that obviously is the story right here in Indiana sports. This has been a week of insanity when it comes to the Colts, so we will spend a fair amount of time at the end of the show. But there's some other things, obviously, we want to talk about and just kind of give you a little preview here, and we'll do our thing. But lots to talk about. And this is a time of year where it's, again, I say it every week, it's great being a sports fan, great being an Indy sports fan, just because of so much to talk about. However, we have a little bit of a wrinkle in this one because I get to bring back some discussion on the Indiana Fever, because there's been some news this week. Some breaking news this past Sunday, and then breaking news today. So we'll chat on that a little bit. We'll talk Purdue. Not a lot to talk about there. Purdue this week. It's a pretty quiet week overall, but some nuggets that came out of West Lafayette that we'll address and discuss. Again, a little bit consolidated. I want to kind of address the 800-pound elephant in the room that is the Colts this week, so I want to save a fair amount of time for them. But we will talk Purdue. Obviously, we're going to talk some IU. Good week for football there again. It's just what a ride it's been. So talk about that. We'll briefly preview their game this weekend in East Lansing, and then we will we'll talk some Irish. I promised you last week, for those who joined, we were doing a little hoops preview for all the teams, all the major teams around, I should say. So we'll get into a brief preview of Notre Dame hoops, and then talk a little bit of Pacers, since we're 5 games in and they're in action tonight. And then we'll wrap it up with the Colts. So, yeah, my word. That's going to be I'm really hoping that, hey, for any of you who are watching on YouTube or via the Twitter, X, Facebook, whatever, I really hope that you're able to comment. Again, comment, keep them PGs, keep them sports related. There's just a lot to talk about when it comes to a lot of venting, I should say. Maybe that might be more like it. But anyway, for those of you watching now, I'm doing the follows right here. You're familiar with, I think we all know, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all the sports. You can find us on every social media platform. And also find us on all of the Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon. You know the story. You find us everywhere. We're coast to coast. We got you covered no matter what. Give us some love. Check out the website, iesportsradio.com. And while you're there, do some shopping. We'll say it every week. It's almost Christmas, and I wear a size large, everybody. Just so you know, I'm a large. Unless you're buying me a hoodie, then I prefer a little bigger on the hoodie, so extra large. That would be really awesome. So please and thank you. Give me a follow and give us a follow here. Indy Sports on Twitter, X, I should say, at Indy Sports _IESR. You can also follow my personal account on X, Twitter, at the Chill Mike. So with that being said, we need to go pay some bills, and we're going to dive right into this because there's just so much to cover. So give some love to our great sponsors, Planet Jerky and Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Get your food out, just get your snack on to Planet Jerky, and if you got some big events coming up, Seal the Deal Wax Seals have got you covered. So on that note, we're going to pay some bills real fast, and we're going to jump right into it on the other side. Thank you again for coming along for the ride, everybody. Big Mike here. Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you again for joining Indy Sports Nation right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's get into this fever news. So about 11:30 or so Sunday, it was the news dropped that head coach Christy Sides had been fired. It's tough business. Just an absolute tough business when you come in, take over a 6-win team, turn it into a 13-win team, then turn it into a 20-win team and make the playoffs. Tough business, man. But I hate to say this. I can't say I'm shocked. And with Koskov coming back as the president and a new GM, right there, that typically says recipe for a new coach. I mean, we see that in almost all sports, right? It's just tough, and I hate it for Christy Sides. And again, we were critical of her on some of her X's and O's and rotations, and et cetera, et cetera. But man, it's a tough business. I kind of thought she might. There's part of me thinking, well, maybe they might give her a little bit of time because she's just done nothing but improve it. I did love her post she put out, though. She said is on Twitter X, leave it better than you found it, with the old deuces, if you will. she'll be fine. She's going to land on her feet. I have no doubt about that. So that happened Sunday. And then today, Stephanie White, who was the coach of the Connecticut Sun, who a couple back-to-back WNBA semifinal appearances, was named the coach of the Indiana Fever, which was probably the worst kept secret in the NBA, for WNBA, I'm sorry. But Stephanie White is an Indiana legend, player of the year when she was high school here, led Purdue to a national championship, was the assistant coach of the Fever when they won the WNBA championship. She's a legit legend when it comes to the state of Indiana here. So with that being said, it's a great hire. I think it's just a nasty business, man, because it's just tough way to go. But could you imagine, like, your job, you do put two solid improvement years back to back, and they say, oh, we see this shiny red new toy over here. Bye-bye, you're out. But hey, it's tough. Sides will be fine. I think this is a great hire for the for the Fever. So, and very, very popular one at that. So we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited to see the Fever next year. There'll be a press conference, I believe they said on Monday, 3:00 Eastern time. So we'll talk about that next week, and any pertinent information from that, we'll definitely talk about it. So let's roll into the Boilers. They didn't lose this week, meaning the football team, because obviously they didn't play, so we didn't have to watch it. Sorry, Purdue fans. It's been a tough year, I know, and it is what it is. But they do have a great chance this weekend against Northwestern. This is probably the only chance they're going to have to win the rest of the season. The last I saw, in fact, they're a 1.5 point favorite, which is okay, cool. Northwestern comes to town. Not a great Northwestern team. They've shown some flashes of some decent play, but not a great team. Hudson Card, quarterback for the Boilers, is back from being out in concussion protocol. Ryan Brown is still is going to be playing as well. So it looks like they're going to do a little 2 quarterback system going in. And you know what? Some are saying that's weird or interesting and not in kind of a negative way. Who cares? You've won one game. At this point, do whatever. Like, do anything you can to try to get an advantage, even if it may backfire. You've won one game. Like, you really have nothing to lose at this point. So speaking of Purdue and head coach Ryan Walters, it does appear, based off a lot of different reporting, that he will indeed be back for a 3rd season. I had speculated, I guess speculated would be the right term, and a lot of others as well, that he might not be coming back because of what IU's been able to do in the course of a year and how IU has flipped that around. Your biggest rival flipped the script within a year. However, there's about 9.3 million reasons as opposed to why they may not fire him, and that would be equaling his buyout. So 9.3 million he would be owed. Doesn't sound like Purdue's going to want to pay that. Don't blame him, but at the same time, something's got to get done there. It's also noted too, from an NIL standpoint, they're like below the median in the Big Ten when it comes to NIL availability and funds and whatnot. So they're just not able to compete with some of the big boys when it comes to that. So it sounds like the administration knows that and is taking that in consideration. It sounds like as long as Purdue puts out at least semi-competitive and a good effort the rest of the way, he'll be back. Never about anybody getting their losing their gig, but hey, I'm a little surprised, but then when I kind of read into this and study a little bit more, it does kind of make sense, I suppose. So we'll see how it kind of goes the rest of the way. I'm not convinced they're going to win this weekend. They've not given me a reason to believe that, honestly. I hope they do. It would be great for him and be good for the fans, obviously, who've been nothing but supportive and awesome this entire season, even though the product has been the complete opposite. So we'll see what happens there. Quick update on the Purdue volleyball. The women have been killing it, as I've said, each and every week. Unfortunately, they did have a setback this past weekend, losing to number 8 Wisconsin, 3-0. It was on NBC. I didn't get a chance to watch a ton of it. But a little bit I watched, it almost looked like they were just tired. they've been playing a lot of volleyball lately and had won 7 of their last 8. And the one they lost was a 5-setter at Nebraska, which was a heck of a match. So to me, they've had a break this week. They're back at it tonight against Maryland. Not a great squad. So I really see this weekend Purdue bouncing back. They did take a hit in the rankings, but only took 1 spot. And with a couple of losses, they might be back in the top 10, assuming they can take care of business this weekend. So good luck to the ladies. Just a tough one to lose at home like that. Was kind of amped. I hope they could pull that out, but hey, it happened. So still plenty of season left. So wanted to give a quick update on that. So with that said, let's move over to that rival of theirs down south, if you will, in very, very pretty Bloomington, Indiana this time of year, by the way. If you've have a chance to get down to southern Indiana, man, it's just a good time to do it. But anyway, Indiana. The Indiana football Hoosiers remain undefeated. Defeat Washington 31-17 with backup quarterback Taven Jackson at the helm. He did what he needed to do. Washington got a few defensive players back, and it was noticeable. But Taven did what he had to do, and obviously that pick 6 in the beginning. I kind of mentioned last week I'd like to see IU's defense do something early, just to give your quarterback some confidence, and they did just that. And I also mentioned I thought it'd be kind of a 34-21 type of game, and I was close. But did what they needed to do, made plays defensively, made offensive plays when needed to do it. I liked what I saw there. There were times where they were struggling moving the ball, but I got to give Washington's defense a little credit too. It's not a bad defense they have over there. I'm not going to say it's the best I've ever seen, but it's not bad. So great win for IU. The good news is for IU fans, Curtis Work is back after his minor thumb surgery. He will be playing this weekend when they travel to Michigan State, who is a turnover machine as of late. I think this is good, actually. And I know some were saying, well, maybe we should just keep him out another week and let Taven do it again up there. And I understood that, and I still understand that logic. I really do. But the only fear I have is I think Rourke – I shouldn't say it's a fear. Let me rephrase that. Rourke opens up that passing game just a little bit more, in my opinion. Taven can – it's not like he can't throw. He can. But Rourke, I think, is going to really open up that passing playbook, and that's going to really give Michigan State some fits, I think. Michigan State does a decent job on the run defense, and it could – I could see a scenario there where maybe if Taven wasn't quite on, they start going a little bit too much to the run, and that's where you kind of give Michigan State a chance. But I like Rourke coming back. I think it's great for him, obviously. Get back on the field, take a few bumps. This is a game IU should win, and I think should win by by a couple scores. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see him put up a 40 spot here. It feels like a 38-41 type of score, maybe 21 or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of what it feels like to me, but I know there's some are speculating trap game, upset, and anything's possible, obviously, as we know. But I think Cignetti's got these guys geared and got their heads on straight, and I think they go up there and take care of business and come back for a big game against Michigan. And boy, oh boy, I can just imagine the atmosphere in Bloomington with even though Michigan's not the Michigan of old, but I will. I don't know. It's going to be great. I can imagine, and if they were able, I don't like to look ahead, as I mentioned, but man, if they could pull that out, going undefeated into Columbus, Ohio, to face the Buckeyes, I can only wow. I keep saying it because I can't believe it. I never thought I would actually see this with Indiana football. It's amazing. So, while we're talking IU, I got to give some love to Indiana men's soccer. The Yeagley tradition just continues, man. They have clinched a share, and they'll probably make that outright here soon enough, of the Big Ten championship. And they've only done that about 35 times. 35! 5 out of the last 7. Todd Yeagley continues to do the legacy of his dad, man, and it's just insane the consistency that IU men's soccer has had. over the course of 4 decades. So congrats to the men. See if they can't rank. They're currently ranked number 16. Hoping they keep this going. I wouldn't mind talking a little bit more soccer on here on occasion. So congrats to the Hoosiers, and we'll see how they do this weekend in East Lansing. Back to the football point, I suppose, but I think they're gonna bring back another win. So great week for IU and a great week for all the IU fans. So we love to see that. So that being said, we still have Irish and Pacers and Colts to get to. So we're going to get another quick break in here. Thank you again. Please feel free to comment if you're watching via YouTube or or via the Twitter or Facebook apps, what have you. Again, keeping PG, keeping the sports, much appreciated. So we'll take another quick break. Big Mike here, Indy Sports Nation on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will be right back.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For a down south education on Florida sports and athletics, it's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back. Big Mike here. Indy Sports Nation, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's talk a little Irish, huh? Boy, there was a lot of people last week. They were trying to pick pick Navy to pull off the upset, right? Had a lot of people going out there saying, "Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen." No, it didn't. No, it wasn't. Not at all. I remember talking about this game last week, and I did think, yes, this is going to be close. Like, I thought Navy could maybe hang around, but I just thought Notre Dame's defense would really kind of would just kind of set the tone like they've been doing. I mentioned it last week, man. When they're tackling this, that point of contact, they're just opposing teams are not going forward. It's just a testament to Notre Dame's defense. So kudos to them. But 50-1 to 14, absolute beatdown of the midshipmen. But then again, Navy kind of, I don't know. It was it just too much? It cracked under pressure. Tried too hard. I don't know, but they had 6 unforced turnovers. And what did Notre Dame do with that? To their credit, they took advantage. I mentioned that last week. That's what Notre Dame has to do. Like, they had to take advantage of the situations. You got to take advantage. You don't want to keep that game close, and they didn't at all. I remember watching that game. My jaw's dropping. I'm like, is Navy literally giving them the game? They're just dropping, pitch, drop, muff punt, fumbles. It almost looks like the moment was too big for them. I don't know. But an absolute beatdown by the Irish. They're off this week. I believe they'll come back. I believe it's Florida State following week, which that should be a win. And then I think it's Army after that, if I'm not mistaken. So then they'll wrap up the season with USC. And as I mentioned last week, they're going to, as long as they don't lose, they're going to be in the college football playoff, like it or not. Say what you want about the schedule, whatever. That's just what's going to happen. Now, if they lose the second time, they're done. But we'll see. I mean, lots to be excited about in South Bend. And speaking of excitement, I've mentioned we've been doing hoops, right? For the past few weeks, kind of doing short previews, if you will, of the major college teams. We've done Purdue. We did Butler last week. Everybody's back. Everybody's in exhibition play now. We get the regular season starting next week. I told Hoosier fans I'm saving y'all for last. You get to still enjoy this crazy football run you're on. So, but we'll get to the Hoosiers next week. Hopefully we get a little bit more in depth here. I apologize, but we all know what the story of the week is here in Indiana, so I want to be sure we spend plenty of time on that. So let's talk about the Notre Dame men. So they did lose Corey Booth. He transferred to Illinois, but that's it. They get Marcus Burton back, obviously, who was ACC Freshman of the Year. Sir Muhammad, if for those of you college basketball fans may remember Najee Muhammad from Kentucky, that would be his kid. And they're setting up next year. As of right now, they have the number 3 recruiting class in the country for next year. So Micah Shrewsbury's back out as a coach for year number 2. A lot of buzz around this guy, and I think a lot of it because he's obviously getting some stud recruits. Again, to be ranked number 3 and Notre Dame, a little bit of a lot of people probably didn't see that one coming. But as it turns to this year, I do see some improvement, but I don't know it's going to make them move up in the ACC much at all this year. I think they're really building for next year. So this is just a step in that process, right? If you followed this team much last year at all, they were very offense was kind of slow. Man, they turned the ball over a ton. I mean, obviously Marcus Burton was a high point, obviously, and he'll come back with another year under his belt. So I think they're going to improve in that regard. Few guys in the transfer portal, and I think will assist just a little bit more playing experience. So I think some of these things like the turnovers, at least I hope, will be I won't say fixed, but at least improved upon. And we know how college basketball is in those tight games. You can look back at those tight games and you see, oh man, those couple turnovers there killed us. Yeah. So I do expect they're going to clean some of that up a little bit this year, which again might give them an extra win or two. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know that this is going to be a team that's going to just make that big jump this year. I think next year is going to be a whole different story. You hope you don't lose a ton of guys this year to the portal or whatnot. I don't think they will. I feel like that with Shrewsbury's got a lot of buzz around him right now. So I don't. Anything could happen. We don't know. I mean, see how the season goes, obviously, but yeah. So we will see. I guess I don't expect a huge jump there, but we've seen surprises before, but we'll see. But with that said, let's go to the ladies. I'm excited about this women's team this year. I think a lot of people in South Bend are too. So Sweet 16 last year. I think some were hoping they might get a little further, but hey, it's a tournament. Anything happens, right? So they're coming in. So we got Niall Ivy is 5th year for Purdue fans. They remember Jaden Ivey, her son, who was a stud at Purdue, now playing with the Pistons. Her 5th year, and they're ranked number 5 in the coaches poll. So nice preseason ranking there to start out, and you've got an All-American backcourt with Hidalgo and Miles back there, and they seem to be, so far, it's early, it's exhibition, it's practice. I mean, these ladies could be, running almost any other team in the country on their own, and they're together. So they seem to be early. I get it. They seem to be working pretty well off each other. Kay Kaval is a true freshman who's 6'5", I believe from Ukraine, if I'm not mistaken. I have to double check myself on that. Who seems to be fitting already very, very nicely there. So they've got some pieces. Backcourt's great. They'll have some wing pieces. We'll see how how the post holds up, but I think they're going to be just fine. This is, in my eyes, a potential Final Four team. Now, of course, they're starting off the tough schedule, which I think will be good for them, honestly. I believe they've got, I think it's A&M comes in, who's ranked, and then they've got, right after that, they have UConn. And, UConn will give just about everybody fits. So it could be something where they start off a little slow, but I expect these ladies become February, March. I think they're going to be rolling. They're going to be a force this year. So I think Notre Dame hoops fans, especially the ladies, there's going to be a lot to look forward to this season. So with that said, definitely want to move on here a little bit. I know we a little over halfway through the show here, and again, thank you for joining. Much appreciate you. We're going to get to I think we'll get to the Pacers here, I think. And before we save the rest of the program for the Colts. So the Pacers have started off 2-3. And it's been kind of a discombobulated 2-3. They mentioned they got that win in Detroit where they had that really good fourth quarter, and then got blown out by the Knicks. I was joking about it last week. 82-0. Let's speak it into existence. Blah blah. Just having some fun with it, right? And watching that first quarter of that game, I thought this is gonna be one of those, another classic Knicks Pacers battle. Probably goes to the end. Couple calls probably go the Knicks way, and Knicks pull it out. And then nope, that didn't happen at all. The Knicks just annihilated the Pacers that night. It was not meant to be. Come home and face the Sixers, who was not at full strength, and lose. Get blown up by Orlando, and then had a chance to beat Orlando. Had a great third quarter. Had a chance to come back, couldn't close it. And then you get the Celtics, who, to this point, most people think are head and shoulders above everybody else in the NBA. And you have a 23-24 point lead in the fourth quarter, and it goes to overtime. Like, you've got to be kidding me. You've been dominating this game all night. I shouldn't say dominating, but you've been in control. And then it goes to overtime. But credit the Pacers, gritty overtime performance. And for me, outside of bad defense and now granted, I'll give you Celtics were missing some shots that they probably would normally make. I understand that. They were missing open looks, but that happens. That happens. I'm sorry. It happens to every team at some point. You're just going to have those nights. And to me, water finds its level. So, but for me, what was a difference in the Celtics game that I hadn't seen in the rest of the Pacers games was Tyrese Halliburton was orchestrating more than he had up to that point. So you look at, and some will say, well, Mike, he had 8. Game prior he had 22 points, and I'm like, yeah, but he had 2 assists. That's not Tyrese orchestrating. That's what Tyrese is there to orchestrate. Yeah, do we love to see him get 20 points? Of course. But with 20 points, there should be 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, assists, not 2. This offense, this whole system is, Tyrese is the driver. And if he's not driving, then they're not going anywhere. So he did a much better job of that Wednesday night, which was good to see. Benedict Mathurin continues to ball. Great night from him. I've mentioned that on my preview that he was going to be a key piece. You know, he got limited minutes in a few of those games because I know Carlisle was a little bit peeved on his defense and trying to do isolations and whatnot. And I agree. I get it. And that's not what this team is. But at the flip side, I've always said, hey, when that high octane offense isn't going, Ben's a guy can come in and get you some good scoring, get you buckets when you need them. So, but I understand it. I understand what Carlisle was thinking there. I don't know if I completely agree with it always, but that's all right. Don't have to. But they're in New Orleans tonight. Got a nice comment here from my buddy Charlie. Pacers need to work on closing. That is facts. Absolute facts. And we'll see how it goes tonight in New Orleans. A couple of 2 and 3 teams. Let's see if maybe the Pacers get that offense back to kind of what we saw on Wednesday. And I'd like to see you guys like Neesmith, for example, start doing more than thinking. But we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. It's early in the season, so you know. And I said last week it's a tough start to the schedule. You know, there's 10 games. I'm kind of hoping if they could win 6, 7 would be nice. But you know, I feel pretty good about it. So that's tonight. And on that note, we're going to do our last break, and it is going to be all Colts the rest of the way. So again, bring those comments in and keep them PG, of course, and let's interact. And we'll be right back here on the other side. Big Mike here, Indy Sports Nation, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all of the sports. Be right back.
Welcome to the 305, aka the Magic City, and this is Magic City Scoreboard. I'm your host JB, and right here we're gonna talk anything Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes, Marlins, Panthers, Inter Miami, and even high school football. So join me once a week right here on Magic City Scoreboard on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed to all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back. Thank you once again for joining me on this lovely Friday afternoon, as I'm here live every Friday afternoon, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. All right, let's get to the stupidness, the clown show, the dumpster fire, whatever flipping description you want to use for the Indianapolis Colts. For those of you watching live right now at the moment, I do appreciate it. I'm not scrolling anything like I normally do. So we'll just dive into it because, quite frankly, it's been a week where we're just kind of emotional roller coaster all over the place. There's this anger and frustration and you name it. So, but we'll start with the game last week in Houston. That first half was not good from Anthony Richardson. However, I would encourage you, if you haven't already, go back, check out some highlights or not, depending on how you feel. My point with all that is this. Richardson completes 2 passes in the first half. 2 passes. That's terrible. It's not acceptable. But if you look, there were some of those passes. Now, did he make mistakes? Of course. I'm not going to sit here and say that he didn't, because he did. But that's what you get with him. We know this. That's the whole point of the project. Of course, he's going to make some mistakes. He's going to miss some reads. That's just part of the growth process. But man, did he not get any help from anybody. I mean, dropping passes. I mean, I tried to give Michael Pittman Jr. a break because I know he's out there playing a little bit hurt and whatnot. But he had a ball in his hands. He got hit and he drops it. Go Mallory catches him. I'll give Houston DB some credit. They were there. They were making hits, and a couple of those they broke up fine. But there were some balls that were thrown where they needed to be thrown and should have been caught and were not. Okay. Oh yeah, you had a touchdown taken back because of a penalty. Our stud guard, Quentin Nelson, who I'm a huge fan of, do not get me wrong. He had 3 false starts on his own. And then the bonehead award of the year at this point, in my eyes, goes to Shane Steichen. So our head coach Shane Steichen's calling the plays for the offense, right? So explain something to me. Your quarterback's not having a good day. Your offense isn't having a good day, so it's not put it all on AR, but I mean, he was not having a good day. I mean, just be honest about it. And I'm going to get to the tap out helmet thing here shortly. Don't worry, because that's the big national thing. So anyway, you're 10-10 on the road at your rival, who, by the way, it's a game. If you Colts win this, they'll be tied for first in the division, right? So it's 10-10. Your quarterback's not having a great day. You've got the ball deep in your territory at the end of the first half. Running play, cool, makes sense. All right. At this point, okay, they're just going to do some runs. If they have to punt, they got a fantastic punter. It's about the only good thing the Colts have these days, it feels like. Kidding, but not entirely. But anyway, so, okay, fine. So second play is a pass. Almost gets picked. There's not much time left in the first half. You're getting the ball to start the second half. So you call a pass play for your quarterback who's not had a great day. You get away with it. Cool. All right, third down. You're going to run the ball. They got to run the ball here. There's no way. No, wait, he's dropping back. We're passing again? He calls another pass play? Now, granted, when Richardson should have threw it out of bounds. That's fine. I mean, he had no business. You look at that. That was a horrible pass. It was not good. Yeah, he should have thrown out of bounds. I will give you that. But why are we calling that in the first place? Seriously. What's the worst that's going to happen? I mean, you run 3 straight plays, you burn some clock. Worst thing you have to do is punt. You've got a really good punter. Probably the worst case that's going to happen. It wasn't like Houston looked great either. Maybe worst case you give up a field goal, but you're more than likely going into the half tied at 10, and you're getting the ball to start the second half. So, but no. So instead, we're going to have our quarterback who's struggling. We're going to call a pass play for him. He throws a pick, and they just gifted the Texans a touchdown at the end of the half. So it goes into 17-10. So 7 points right there was gifted to the Texans. Gee, what was that final score again? Oh, 23-10 or 23-20. I'm sorry. Funny how that works. Defense played well enough to win. I mean, that's defense isn't a great defense, but they've shown some signs of playing a little better. Gus Bradley's loving this. He's like, hey, they're not talking about me for once. This is great. So we go into, game's over again. Now this division's over, essentially, unless Houston just absolutely has a collapse of all collapses. Houston has just pretty much won the AFC South as a result of that. Fine. Colts are still 4-4, still get a wild card. Season's not over, right? All right. So it comes out Monday. Well, Shane Steichen says we're evaluating everything. And he gets asked about the quarterback, gets asked about Anthony. Well, we're evaluating everything. Okay. So let me get this straight. This quarterback that we brought in last year, 4th overall pick, y'all sit there and telling us he's a project, which he is. I don't think anybody's denying that. We're going to go through the ups and the downs, but he's got to play. He's got to play. It's just like the old, our GM says, right? We were being critical of him on our secondary, being so young and inexperienced, and we should have added some help back there. And his response was, these guys got to play. And his little cross-arm curmudgeon-y, they got to play. We like our guys. Sorry, I'm a little emotional. My Chris Ballard impression is not on point today, but whatever. Now, I've seen some decent play from the secondary, so credit is due. And you could argue that Richardson just hasn't, he's call it whatever you want, sophomore slump, even though I still consider him a rookie. He's played 10 games. I mean, he only played 4 last year. So to me, he's still a rookie at the end of the day. So anyway, you knew when they said we're evaluating everything. You knew what that, I think we all knew what that meant. I'm like, they're pulling him. They're going to go to Flacco. You don't say that without making a change there. You knew it. Otherwise he says, no, Anthony's our guy. He's our guy. So here they go. They announce the next day, Anthony Richardson to the bench. Joe Flacco is the starter going forward. Are you kidding me? We have been putting Band-Aids at the most important position in sports, for crying out loud, for years. For years. It's been, 5 years now? Yeah, 5 years. So Andrew Luck came with the bombshell 2 weeks before the season started that he's done. So, yeah, everybody gets a pass because nobody saw that coming. So, okay, fine. Going into that year, yeah, your hands are tied to nothing you can do. But instead of saying, okay, what are your shots? So let's just blow this thing up and start over. Nope. Now we're going to do that. We're going to bring in Phillip Rivers, who could barely throw the ball 40 yards. No hate on Phillip Rivers. Just saying, at that point in his career, he could barely throw the ball 40 yards. Then we do Carson. And we got Matt Ryan. And then you draft a quarterback who was thinking, he'll be our guy. And then, of course, he gets hurt, yada, yada. I wanted to see if I can pull this thing up here. I took this little snapshot, if I can find it here. So here is all these quarterbacks since Chris Ballard's been here. I think I've mentioned it before, but and these are not necessarily in order. Jacoby Brissett, Carson Wentz, Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers, Gardner Minshew, Matt Ryan, Anthony Richardson, Sam Ehlinger, Joe Flacco, Nick Foles, Brian Hoyer, Scott Tolzien. A lot of franchise quarterbacks there, huh? So anyway, back to it. So they've decided they're going to go with Flacco the rest of the year. So you're telling me after all this time, where we saw last week that not everything was on AR's fault, and we knew that this is going to take some time to get there. Now all of a sudden it's a win now thing? You just woke up like, what, Monday morning? Well, Joe Flacco gives us the best chance to win. Well, no kidding. We've all said this. Like, if you want to win now, if you have a Super Bowl type team, I've said it from the beginning. If you have a Super Bowl type caliber team, which by the way they don't, then yeah, that's probably the time you'd play him because he's got a lot more experience, a lot more polish in the pocket, what have you. But that's not this team. You brought in Joe to be your backup. And now all of a sudden you're going to we're going to put another Band-Aid on the thing. So what happens now? You know, it's back to the same thing. It hasn't worked. You can only, you keep putting your head against a brick wall. You know the brick wall wins. I promise you. It's not so good for your head, obviously. That's what this organization is doing. It's just like they're striving for mediocrity. And the fan base is sick of it. I know I'm sick of it. I'm not abandoning the team or anything like that. I put a post out earlier in the week. Like, not going to bail on my team, but I could be really PO'd at them. And that's what I am. That's what the majority of the fan base is right now, as they should be. I mean, it's a clown show over there. Like, even you get these pressers and they're being asked, example, Shane Steichen, is this the locker room good with this? Are you united behind this? His answer, well, I can't speak for the team. What do you mean you can't speak for the team? You're the coach and the leader of said team. Anthony Richardson was interviewed. Asked him, did they tell you why? He says, no, they didn't say, just I could get better. But that was it. No real specifics. He says that. Today comes out, oh, no, we talked to him for 45 minutes. What? You got Michael Pittman Jr., or one would say our number one receiver, finding out through social media. You got Senator Ryan Kelly doing his presser and saying he's sick of it. I don't blame him. And he wishes Andrew was still here, basically, is what he said. I get that, but he's not. So don't quit talking about Andrew. That's way done and gone. And DeForest Buckner's up there, like you basically saying, I'm sick of this carousel. I'm over it. Everything right there tells me that's all but him saying trade me. Maybe not, but my point is it's the frustration. And if he did want to trade, I don't think anybody would blame him. So here we go again. Another deal. And listen, I'll go back to the tap out thing. Yeah, that was dumb. I can't defend him on that. But here's a twist. I don't know if you've all heard this. The rumor is, and it's being reported here by local sports radio, the local ESPN affiliate here in Indianapolis. Source reporting that he said that he tapped the helmet, not because he really needed a break. It's because he was hurt. And I get that they were saying it might have been his hip and he did hurt his wrist in the game. You probably all saw that. He laid it kind of funny on it. And then, obviously he went back in, but he doubled down on it because he didn't want people thinking he was hurt again because he's been so injury prone. Now, believe what you're going to believe. Whatever. But it was funny. He did come up on the injury report this week. So, take with that what you will. But the thing is, this organization, they're just unserious about doing anything right. The fans have been right this entire time, and that's the problem. When the fans are sitting there yelling and screaming, fans are supposed to be the ones being emotional and irrational and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to how this team's being managed, they've been right. I mean, he's played 10 games. Anthony Richardson has now played 10 games in the NFL. His stats mirror the first 10 games of Josh Allen's. Oh, Mike, it's not a fair comparison. Really? Josh Allen had a defense. Like a pretty good one. Better than the Colts have. Actually, if you look at the stats, they are pretty mirrored, but I believe that AR has few less turnovers than Allen. I think Josh Allen turned out to be all right. It took him a while. And I think most teams would say, oh, yeah, I'd take him as my quarterback. Yeah, I'd be good with that. But no, we're just going to pull the plug. Because here's the thing. You're not going to see him this year again. Unless Flacco's hurt. Which could happen as early as this weekend because Sunday Night Football against the Vikings and that defense, Flacco might be in trouble. Our starting left tackle's out in concussion protocol. We got a rookie who's never played starting there, so this could be a rough night for the Colts. Not to mention Minnesota's lost 2 straight. I'm sure they're going to come out, bring their best, get back on the winning streak, get back on the winning side of things. But here's the thing. Now, who's the quarterback of the future? Oh, wait, we don't know again. Again. The most important position. You've got all these Colts fans who bleed blue, spending thousands and thousands of dollars, and you're jacking around with the most important position, which makes or breaks every football team. We know as Colts fans, we already kind of know, we already have a pretty good feeling what's going to happen here. I mean, they're in this midst of this tough schedule anyway, right? Could they sneak 2? Maybe. At this point, who the heck knows? Probably not Sunday night. They come back to Indy to play Buffalo. Maybe. To the Jets, maybe. Lions back home, probably not. Lions look amazing. They pulled that out. They're 6-6. As I mentioned before last week, and maybe even the week before, their last 5 games are favorable. Flacco gives you maybe what? What to get you? Maybe he gets you 10 wins. Let's just say that 10 wins, maybe a 7 seed. We'll see how that all shakes out. Probably out first round. Now what? Back to it again, band-aiding it again, because we all know that when you pull out the young quarterback and bench him, it rarely ever works out for him with that same team. Look at everybody else. Look at Goff. Granted, he did get to a Super Bowl that year, but I'll give him that. But Baker, Geno Smith, they've revitalized their careers elsewhere. So the only chance of this happening, if Flacco gets hurt, and I'm not wishing for that because I like Flacco. I don't want him to get hurt, obviously, is that AR gets back on the field and he balls out. And the only way he's getting back on the field this year is due to an injury. So now it's like, win now. This is the best chance to win. Okay. Let's see you make a move at the deadline. You won't. And the other thing, I just can't, here's the other thing from the coaching side of it too. I was thinking about this. You didn't just wake up Monday morning saying that he gives us the best chance to win. You did not do that. Do that. That did not happen. I'm questioning now, why would they just not brought Flacco out in the second half of the Houston game? I almost rather have seen that. Said, hey, you know what? Rich, this is not your day today. We got to get a spark on offense. We're going to see I don't know. I'm saying I would almost rather have seen that. Even though AR did a little bit better in the second half, but that bar was pretty low because his first half was not great. Again, not all on him. I want to stress that. Not all on him. But now now you're essentially all but pulling the plug, it appears. It just doesn't make it's mind-blowing to me how this organization is just all about mediocrity. And I'm trying to do everything I can't not swear right now, but man. I got a few more comments here. Draft Arch Manning. That's going to take a bit. Go get Harrison. You know what? That would be a perfect scenario for, I think, every Colts fan is to go back to the glory days, right? Look, how they're handling this kid, and it's all talking about grooming and project. He's got to play, and then it just makes no sense to me. Then if you thought that, then you just brought Flacco as a starter from the beginning and said, hey, we think Richardson needs a little bit more time. Fans would have been a little bit understanding of it because they know. They understand this. They know a kid who only played like 13 college games, who was very, very raw, and you drafted him because you didn't have a choice. You put yourself in that position to begin with by not addressing it earlier. And now you're basically putting yourself right back in the position again. And it's infuriating to no end. And as I said, I don't, I'm still pulling for the team. I'm not gonna stop doing that, but at the same time, this organization right now is a laughingstock and is a joke of the NFL. And until they get serious and start doing stuff right, it's going to continue to be. And it starts at the top. It starts over at the offices of West 56th Street at the very, very top. I've never seen our owner on social media get so much hate this week. Even Pat McAfee, who's loved here, was getting hate for what he's saying on his show. Basically saying, give it to Flacco, not so many words. So I hope the next home game when he's there and they show him on the screen, we boo him. Not because I hate him, not because I want him to take his show and go somewhere else. I mean, he loves it here, and I'm glad he's here. Don't be wrong. It's not like anything like that. But I just think that, you put your foot in your mouth, you deserve the consequences. So it won't happen, but I mean, I'm going to do it. So look, a little over on time here. I apologize for that. But I had to get this rain out. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm obviously want these players to be successful. That's where my heart's at. This organization needs to pull their head out of their backside, and I just don't know if that's ever going to happen, especially with the people they've got in place now. So we'll see. But hey, y'all, thanks for coming along on the ride. Appreciate y'all very much. We will see you back here next week, live every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. right here, Indy Sports Nation, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great weekend, everybody.